Tonight we have another UFC fight night. This one's going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This is another one of those fight nights that I feel like is kind of flying under the radar. Personally, I'm really excited for the main event, which is Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot. I know both of these flyweights have been on a tear, and they're gunning for that #1 contender spot. They're both riding very long win streaks as well, and each fighter only has one loss in their pro career coming into this fight. But obviously, after tonight, one of those winning streaks is going to be snapped. I'm going to start off by giving some props to Manon. She's coming off a really good win over Rose Namajunas. She also has wins over Caitlin Jukagian, Jennifer Maia, Tabitha Ritchie, and a bunch of other notable names. I think it's impressive how all of her opponents have had very different skill sets, but she's found ways to be successful in all scenarios, so that's pretty impressive. Obviously, what stands out to me, though, is her striking and the power she's able to generate behind it. Something she does really well is using her kicks to control the distance, specifically her side kick. She uses this very often and actually has like a lot of impact behind it. I think this is a tool that she should definitely try to utilize in this matchup. Here and there, she's also showcased some skill in the takedown department, but as a whole, I would say she's primarily a striker. And especially in her approach to this fight, I'd say it's in her best interest to keep it on the feet. Her striking is her biggest threat, and what I think usually gives her an edge over her opponents, though, is her intent with it. Everything she does, she's trying to hurt or break you. But as well-rounded as Manon is, I do think Erin Blanchfield is going to be her trickiest matchup to date. We have seen Erin rise through the rankings, and she's quickly become one of the most respected flyweights. Erin and I actually fought back in 2018 at Invicta 32. Let me just say, we have both had far more exciting fights. I went up to 125 for that matchup, and overall, the fight was a bit of a stalemate. One judge scored it a draw, and the other two edged it to Erin. We've both evolved a lot as fighters since. However, one thing I can say is in her movement and style, she was very unorthodox. As fundamentally sound as she does have some nice tricks up her sleeve. She likes to disguise her head kicks behind her same side straight punches, and she has a lot of success on the feet. I will say, though, her biggest strength is by far her grappling. From a very young age, Erin has been a high-level grappler. She ran the jiu-jitsu scene before making her break in MMA and has great success there as well. In our fight, we actually never made it to the ground, unfortunately, but just by watching her fights and her grappling matches, it's no secret that her grappling is her strong suit. She has a very fundamentally strong grappling base. Her movement, her transitions, and submissions, they're all executed very seamlessly, and I think the reason she's been able to implement her jiu-jitsu so well in MMA is because she hasn't neglected her wrestling. She most recently showcased that against Jessica Andrade, but sometimes I feel like you see athletes who are remarkable grapplers, but they do neglect the wrestling aspect of the game, and it makes it harder for them to drag the fight down into their world. As skilled as Manon is, I do think Erin Blanchfield will have the overall edge. One difference I see is Blanchfield's ability to finish a fight. Of course, Manon has some impressive finishes under her belt, but as she's faced tougher and tougher opponents, her finishing rate has decreased. Understandably so. Obviously, when you're fighting the best of the best in your division, that task does get harder and harder. But Erin, on the other hand, has been able to maintain the ability to find a finish when facing opponents that are higher ranked. I see Manon being a little more careful as well with her forward pressure this fight. Erin is really good at using her opponent's forward pressure against them and scoring takedowns off of them. Overall, I do see this fight likely going to the ground on Erin's terms. Whether she scores a submission win or grinds out decision, I see Erin walking away winner. My guess is whoever wins this fight is next in line for a title shot. So I see both women coming in on their A game. It's always exciting to see some new blood in the title contention. Obviously, Alexa Grasso and Valentina are currently wrapping up the latest season of Tough. So there's no doubt we'll be seeing the trilogy between those two in the near future. So I'm guessing we'll likely see the winner of Grasso versus Valentina fight the winner of Blanchfield versus Fiorot. Maybe we'll even see the loser of each face the other as well. But either way, I think we're in for a good set of fights at 125 pounds. You can have any of those four fighters face each other and we'll be in for an exciting matchup. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.